Alright, aloha friends and family. So, gonna do another drawing here for you guys. As you can see, I obviously coming back from the beach again. Just had a nice sandwich from Sprouts. Drank a lot of water. Did a little bit of stretching. A little yoga, if you will. And now I'm here to spend some time with you all. Do a little drawing. Not really sure what I'm gonna draw, but I'm starting out with the yellow spiral pattern, adding in some good stuff. So that's kind of fun too sometimes with art, is you don't always have to have an intention starting out. You know, sometimes you have something in mind that you're gonna go for and create, and that's always fun too, but it's cool when you can just kind of start off and see where your mind takes you and what comes out of it as the colors start to show. What do you as the artist see in between all those lines is what is the fun part of finding out where you're going to draw or what you're going to put onto the paper. Looks like I'm going to be working with at least some sort of mandala or flower design just by my spiral pattern of color that I've got so far. Hopefully out there, if you're watching this, you're having a nice day, enjoying yourself, having a good afternoon, morning, midday, whatever it may be, night, wherever you are. Whatever you may be doing, driving a car, dropping off a load, whatever it may be, hanging out. Glad you're here. Glad you decided to spend some time with me. Not going to be too long of a video, I don't imagine. I've got some errands and other things I'm going to get to after this, but thanks for stopping in and watching, checking out this video. If you want to make a design like this of your own, I encourage you to do so using watercolor paper and some Sharpies, as well as black ink and a pen brush, which you'll see here in a bit. I'm feeling lots of color on this one. I'm going to go lots of different layers. Oftentimes I leave quite a bit of white in my drawings just because I kind of like how it'll show through at the end. But today I'm going to use a little bit more color than I tend to usually go for. Feeling colorful, nice and bright today. Alright. So, try not to just sit here in silence for you guys, but as you can understand, I am here by myself, just talking to a iPad, so that's how that goes from my end. So, and as I've kind of, if you know me, talked about before, art's kind of like my meditation time. It's time to just kind of clear your head and relax. So at this moment I don't have a ton of thoughts racing through my brain other than just relax, enjoy the moment, chill. So, but to give you all out there some entertainment, I will start talking about random things. So let's see. There's a baby monk seal who was born this summer. Kaimana Beach Park. It's kind of cool to see him and his mom cruising around, swimming in the shore break. It's always fun. Always fun to see nature. my friend Com and I were discussing how we thought it was interesting how, at least in nature with these monk seals, it's not like 50 other monk seals came by to say hello or congratulations or give a helping hand or anything like that. It's just one mother and her one child trying to dig it out on their own. So, which I would argue that we as human primates are social beings, and that we kind of naturally help each other out, even though our structures of kind of Western society today make us very individual people, which is cool and also not cool at the same time. I think I'm one of those people who can kind of see the good and bad in everything. It's hard for me to paint something or someone as black or white. There's always some sort of in between going on. There's always some grayscale in everyone's lives, depending on the situation or the circumstance at hand. So it's just always something to think about, that everybody's got different views, and like I've said before, I think it's great that people have different views. I think that's what's very important. Part of biological diversity, of having different people see different things and have different perspectives, because if they don't, then we'd all just be doing the same thing, and that one thing might be a very harmful thing if nobody looked at it differently, whatever it may be. So I think it's really important to always have, different thoughts and people who think differently or see things differently, even if it's just to, verify whether or not your initial idea or thought was a good one or a value. So, but like I was saying, it's tough for me to identify something as this way or that way, because in my short time here I've come to see that everything is very grayscaled. There's always some level of medium in between. I like to read here and there when I can. I don't read, I would say, as often as I used to, or at least read like kind of structured novels or books the same way I used to. I still read quite a bit on my phone and articles online and things of that nature, but I think it's really important, if you have the opportunity and the time, to be able to read. Is very helpful thing for your brain, whether it's a developing brain or fully developed brain, whether you're trying to build it or just keep it going. I think that's an important tool to keep. And that's why I encourage all of my young students to try their best to find something they enjoy reading, even if it's just a young person's novel, totally fiction. Doesn't have to be real life, as long as you're following along and trying to comprehend the story, build a little framework in your head. I think that's very good. Very good indeed. And if you're not a reader, hey, that's okay. There's other ways too. Lots of audiobooks and things like of that sort. Different videos and other mediums today. Maybe you're just more of an artist like myself and just prefer creating rather than consuming, and that's fine too. But I think it's very awesome that we have the abilities to widen our perspectives or our streams of information, streams of influence, because at the end of it, we are, or we become, that which we are most strongly influenced by. And so, the majority of human beings and individuals turn into some version of their parents because they are the greatest influences in their lives, at least during the developmental stages, where you as a little monkey are just watching everything. And you know, one of my least favorite but kind of favorite sayings to kind of laugh about was always do as I say, not as I do. I always thought that was kind of a garbage saying, just because as much as you may say that as a human being, at our core, the way we learn, at least most people, is just through observation. At least when you're a young baby, you don't understand, don't do this and do this. You just understand, I see them do this or I don't see them do this. So if you are someone with a young child or thinking about having kids, it's important to think about those sorts of things as you're raising them, because they're going to do what you do, no matter what that thing is. So it is important that you try to act in a way that you would want your children to behave, or another human being. So, and that's just a little advice for you. You can take it or leave it, It's your life. Like I've said before, I'm not trying to force anybody to be or do anything outside of what they're comfortable with, but I think if we can all just have a small amount of consideration for other people and those around us, that this world would slowly but surely and incrementally continue to become a more and more positive place. Because for me, one of my favorite sayings is everything affects everything. And you can spell that effect with an E or an A, because it really doesn't matter. Because in reality, everything is affecting and being affected by everything else. Unified field theory. Oh, I just put my hand in ink. That's okay. It was a little smear here. That's alright. But as an artist, that is one thing to be careful of. You may want to keep an eye, how hard or how much pressure you put with the pen is how much ink is going to kind of come out. So just be aware of your situation, so you don't smear ink where you don't want to end up smearing ink. Alright, so I'm just going to give these petals here a nice little outline. I always like to do this. I might give it a little bit more design this time. Kind of jamming along. We're at 13 minutes here. Trying to keep these things around 20 minutes. Because, in life, it's great to take time to appreciate these little moments where we can create art and relax and just be ourselves, but we can't do those things all the time, or else nothing would get done, right? So it's very important to be able to manage your time and decide what you're going to do first. What's most important? Do I need this now? Can this wait till later? Should I do it now just to get it out of the way? All questions worth asking yourself in your own life. Because for me, I think personally, one of my most valuable commodities is most definitely my time. I know in our world today, money is a very important and valuable thing, because it can create, material goods and possessions and possibly more opportunities for different things in life, but I'm just very appreciative when I have some time to appreciate life and spend that time with friends or family or other people who can also appreciate those little things, and not have to try and impress them with your fancy gold watch or chain or whatever it may be, and like I've said before, I'm just smearing ink all over the place. Like I've said before, if that's your thing and you love wearing, gold chains and whatnot, do your thing. If that makes you happy, please don't let me stop you from doing so. But in my experience, those material things not what brings true happiness in this life. It is, good vibes, the love and affection of friends and family, good food, your health. All these things are much more valuable and important in life than some gold watch or shiny car. And that's just my opinion, as I've said, and you may believe the opposite, and that's just fine, but I would try to present the argument that you may only believe that because of a lot of marketing and culture designed around those things, those ideals. And hey, like I keep saying, I'm not trying to stop you or convince you to live any kind of way. I just try to share what brings me happiness in my life, and if that can, shine some understanding into your existence, awesome. But if not, hey, I'm no worse off for it. I'm still here, enjoying myself, doing my art. So that's kind of how I feel about things, is just, if you're not going to be any worse off for it, why not give it a shot? And if you have an opportunity to be in a better position afterwards, definitely give it a shot, whatever it may be. Gotta take the opportunities in life. Gotta take the opportunities. So, as I was kind of saying earlier, how everything affects everything and everything's connected, or the unified field theory, or whatever other theory, string theory, and different things may be. I'm no astrophysicist or even a physicist, so I don't know, but I do believe that energy is one of the most, kind of simplified versions or understandable entities that you can kind of simplify in terms of, if you think of everything in energy as, you are a being of energy and you've only got so much of it. And it's kind of like, where am I going to spend this energy? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to give it all to someone else? Is all my energy going to go to someone's 18-wheeler? Am I filling them up? Or am I using my energy to create more energy, or some sort of something more beneficial? I like to kind of think of us humans as like a battery. I think like your core and your spine, that's kind of where, down in your lower abdomen, it's kind of like your battery pack, your core, and the stronger that is, the more you can breathe into those, the kind of more energy you can store or draw from. The Hawaiians call it your na'au. That's where you got to say aloha from, down there, that breath of life. But so anyways, as I was saying, as far as us kind of all being a battery, I think you can be a really well-maintained battery and kind of last a long time in this life, or like a lot of people, you can burn yourself out really quickly, depending on how and what you use your energy on. So another little artist tip from Blake is just to try and be aware of the way in which your energy is spent throughout your day, and just reassess always, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? And if not, maybe it's time to make a change. let go of the things that no longer serve you in your life, and realize maybe you're just doing something out of habit and it's just something that you don't need anymore, or maybe it doesn't serve you in the same way that it used to. So it's always good to reassess and reevaluate how our time and energy and information is being used. Because me personally, I was not a fan of how much time I was giving at a certain point in my life to consumption, as a large kind of broad scale word of media, whether it was Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever the videos, YouTube, whatever it may be. But I just felt like too much of my time was like being consumed by other things, and I was giving that energy to all these things when I wasn't super satisfied with my own life, and so I felt like I should reevaluate how I use my time and energy, and whether or not it was worth my time. And once I kind of did that a few years back, it really has made my life a lot better, I think, just being able to reflect and assess how I use my time, how you use your time and your energy. I think some good things to be aware of. Try and be aware of your breath, be aware of your posture, be aware of how you spend your time and energy. Try to maintain where your thoughts are. All of these things are really important, I think, in life. Alright, so I've got my little flower kind of drawn out here. I'm going to add in some different colors, maybe give it a background, maybe throw in some clouds or a bird or something random. I don't know, we'll see. Give it a shot. I'll give this guy a nice purple trim. Just kind of blow dry some of the ink so I don't smear with this Sharpie. And here we go. Alright, so it's kind of cool, like I've said before, with this watercolor. When you use these watercolor pieces of paper or canvas, if you will, you can use these Sharpies or any other kind of felt tip brush to mix colors really well, and kind of unique in a way that doesn't happen on all mediums or sorts of paper. And if you don't want all of these other colors shining through or kind of showing through a little bit in your outline, you can always use a darker color. If I was using a darker purple, some of these sections where the darker oranges wouldn't kind of make a difference as much. But for me, I kind of like it. I like the way it looks. Gives it a little bit of a tiger stripe look, kind of unique, something different. Gives it a little mix, just like nature. Because in nature, almost nothing is perfect, unless it's got that beautiful spot right on the hill where it gets the sun all day long, and then it's just geometrically sound. Perfect little 180 degrees of sunshine. And even then, there's always some little bug or creature crawling around, eating a little bit of this or that here and there. Speaking of bugs and little creatures and different things, one of the most fascinating things that I've ever heard about, and I don't know if this is like factually true, I heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast, so you can thank him, but about this thing called mycelium. And it's basically, it sounds like the closest thing to magic that I've ever heard of. And it's basically, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know, I'm just kind of talking from memory. But from what I remember hearing, it's this small bacteria, and you can look it up if you want, it's the beauty of the internet. Small bacteria that basically, it's almost like a butler service in really healthy soil for all these different plants. And so it's this bacteria that lives in the soil who can basically test and monitor all these different plant life and basically go around and be like, oh, this plant is low in carbon or iron or whatever this individual plant may be. And then it can kind of go around through its network system and be like, oh, this plant is high in that trait that the other plant is missing. Take it from that plant and bring it back to that other plant and give it to it. And I was like, that sounds incredible. That literally sounds like magic. So that was one of the most interesting things that I had kind of learned about, and it was crazy interesting, and it made me start kind of thinking about how it just, nature knows how things work, and we're here because of nature, and like I said, everyone has different views and different beliefs, and I don't know everything on this topic, but it just makes me think about agrochemical companies who grow food, and the way that they try and grow food is just so almost out of balance, just not in tune with the natural flow of things. And like I said, I don't know everything. I just think it's important to question things that you feel in your gut are worth questioning, and if you feel like something's not settled or doesn't seem right, then you should raise questions about it and don't just go along with the flow because everyone else is going along with it. And I think that's an incredibly important thing that we'll see how this internet culture affects those sorts of individual thought streams. But I think this internet thing is pretty cool because we all have an ability to create a larger influence than we did before. I mean, I'm here talking to you people right now. Time and space machine. It might not even be right now where you are, where I am right now, if that even makes sense to you. So, in other words, you could be watching this in the future, and I could be talking to you from the past. Pretty crazy. But, all the same, almost finished up here with my nice little mandala. I think I'm going to give it some color on the outside too, just to give it that extra little separation that I like to kind of add. So as you can see, the more that I get towards the center of this flower, the less purple that these kind of outer leaves are going to look, because of the amount of color that is focused in the middle. That's okay, because in nature everything's different, and that's probably the area that got the most sun from the beginning, so that's alright. Okay, I think because it's kind of purple, so I've got these bluish and green colors. I'm going to throw these around the outside. Maybe not the teal one, we'll see. Just to give it a little something that's not on the inside, so you can kind of right off the bat notice that these things are actually separated and it's not just all one thing. But in reality, it is all just one thing. Because everything affects everything. Everything's connected. One of my favorite things, just as human beings, to kind of realize and appreciate is, even the most hateful, racist, bigot person, no matter what they do, they still have to breathe the same air as the rest of us. So it's like, you can stand in a room, you can hate this person to their core, their guts, but you're still all part of the same thing. So, kind of makes me laugh. Hopefully people can more and more start to realize that we're all connected. But anyways, we're coming up on 30 minutes here. It's a little longer than I wanted, so better wrap this thing up. Thanks for watching, you guys, hanging out, cruising along. But I'm slowly but surely wrapping this up within the next minute or so. If you want to check out my Etsy store, feel free to do so. Most of these drawings are about $10. $10 plus shipping, depending where you're at. So if you like them, feel free to check it out. If not, hey, no worries. Aloha to you. Thanks for checking out the videos. If you want to subscribe, there's a subscribe button. You can get notifications when I'm making more videos. But for now, aloha. Catch you later. Bye-bye.